Hello all, welcome to TechTrapture. So in this our playlist Mastering GitHub Action, I am here with one more amazing video. So in this video we'll see how we can automate application deployment on Cloud Run. So what we'll do, we'll create one simple Python Flask application, then we will automate building of Docker image, pushing Docker image to artifact registry and deploying on Cloud Run. So all this flow we are going to automate using a GitHub action. So let's get started with this. I'm just go to my GitHub repository. I'll create new repository and I'll start creating our first GitHub action workflow to deploy service on a Cloud Run. So let's go to my GitHub repository now. So I am on my GitHub homepage. So let me create a new repository. So I'll just create a new repository with a name deploy Cloud Run GitHub Actions. Okay, so I'll just use this name. This name is available. I'll keep it private. I'll just add readme file and I'll just create repository. Okay, so before we'll create some sample Python Flask application here. So we'll take a help from ChatGPT. So with sample code to deploy simple Python Flask app on Cloud Run. So it will help with a Python app.py file, Docker file and all required files. Okay, so I'll just copy this and I'll create app.py here first. I'll just add a new file. I'll just name it app.py. Okay, so I'll just change it hello world. This service deployed using GitHub action. So it will just print that message. Okay, I'm just modified bit and here. Okay, let me import OS as well because that is missing. We are using os.environment here. Oh, let me commit changes. Okay, and now let me create Docker file. So Docker file code also here. Okay, so we have a Docker file code as well. So let me copy it and create a Docker file as well. So one more command I have to give, like expose port 8080. So which port we are using? So we are using 8080. So I'm just exposing that port so it will not throw an error. Okay, now we also need a requirement.txt. So I'll create requirement.txt. So it should be only Flask here and I'll name it .txt. Okay, so let's commit changes. Now we have our simple Python Flask application. So this is very simple, so I'm not going to test it for now. So now what we are going to do, so as we earlier seen, we have a starter workflow in GitHub action. So it will provide us a template, so we don't need to create it from the blank file. Okay, so I'll go in actions. So currently there are no GitHub actions, so it is providing me the multiple starter workflow. So I need a starter workflow to deploy service on a Cloud Run. So let's see if we have it here. So for deployment, go to deployment. So there are 26 workflow related to AWS, deploy GKE, Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud. So I'll check for if we have anything for Cloud Run. Okay, so here you can see build and deploy to Cloud Run. So I have a template here. I have a starter workflow, so I'll just use it. I will not use as it is. I will just use this template file, this syntax file, because what I observed, these are not up to date and updated with the versions of all the actions, and we need to make some changes. Okay, so I'll show you what changes we are going to do, but before that we'll first see what is required. So first see authenticate to Google Cloud, authenticate Docker artifact registry, build a Docker container, publish to Google artifact registry and deploy it to Cloud Run. Now two things here, if you are using self-hosted runner, you don't need to worry about authentication. You can authenticate in your Google Cloud using a service account. Okay, but I am using here a GitHub hosted runner. Okay, so I will use a service account here, and I will use a service account key. So here they have given two options: either you use workload identity or using a credential JSON. So I'll use a credential JSON because last time I used service on like self-hosted runner. So this time I will show how to use a service account keys here. Okay, so I'll just remove this. So let me just align it. So it will not throw an syntax error. Okay, so it is now aligned. So first thing, now we have to create a service account, and we have to add service account key in a GitHub secrets. So let me go to Google Cloud Console and create one service account for us. So our GitHub action will use that service account key to authenticate with the Google Cloud, and it also provided what permissions are required. It required permission cloud run admin, service account user, and artifact registry admin. So we'll create service account with these permissions only. Okay, so let's go here, go to IAM, go to service account, and create one a GitHub action service account. I'll just create service account. I'll just give the name a GitHub action. Okay, GitHub action, create, continue, and role I will give whatever mentioned there. Okay, so we have a cloud run admin. I will give that role. Okay, then artifact registry admin and service account user. Artifact registry administrator. Okay, this role also are given, and service account user. Is spelling mistake, service account user. Okay, and let me create a service account. Now I have to create a key for that service account. So if you don't want to use a key, you can use a self-hosted runner, or you could use a workload identity federation. So I'm just trying different approaches in different videos, so you will be aware of all the approaches. Okay, so I'll go here in service account, and I'll create a key. Okay, go here in keys, add key, create new key, and download a JSON. So the JSON file will be downloaded. Okay, and I'll just click here, show in folder. Okay, so this is my file which downloaded now, and I'll just open it in a notepad plus plus. I'll just copy it. Okay, so this is kind of sensitive data, so I will hide that part of the video, but I'll create a secret now. Okay, so I have to create secret here. I'll go to settings, I'll go to secrets and variable, I'll go to actions, I'll create a secret, not variable. I have to create a secrets, new repository secrets. I will paste data here. What should be the name? So what name we have used in our file, that is a GCP credentials. Use that name, add secret. Okay, so we have added secret. Now few things to remember. We have to make some corrections here. L will face an error. So two things here. So first you can see there is line number 75 double quote. Just remove one double quote here. Okay, I removed that. Then this docker auth is fine, and this auth v0, it will throw an error because now it is version 1. So how we can check? So just copy this and paste in Google, so you will see what is the current version going on. Okay, so you scroll down and you take it is v02 or v2. Okay, I'll show you the error as well so you will understand. So purposefully I will execute it as it is and will show you what are the different errors we'll get. Before that we have to set some variables, so I'll set the variable. So project ID, I will give my project ID name. Okay, artifact registry name. So one more thing, we have to create our artifact registry as well to store the image. So I'll create one artifact registry. Go to artifact registry. Okay, create repository. I'll just give GitHub Action demo. Okay, gh-demo. Region, I will choose US Central one and I'll simply create it. Now same name I will use in my code as well. So I have to give location. So I will use US Central one. I will create one more variable for artifact registry name. So this GAR means Google Artifact Registry, and I will create one more variable here. So the starter workflow doesn't mean you have to use as it is, so it is just a template instead of starting with a blank file. And it has, I observed some mistakes here as well, typo or some wrong syntaxes in this starter workflow. Okay, so this should be gh demo. Service name, so service name I will give my Flask app. Okay, so this is the service name I am giving, and a region again US Central one I'll put. So these are the variables I have defined, and these variables will be used throughout the file. Now few things to remember here. As I said, I'll execute now. It should fail on this because this is the older version, and it also fail on this side because we are not using this OAuth tokens here. We will be use a command. So how to use a command? Authenticate with artifact registry GCP. So we have to use a gcloud auth docker command here. So gcloud auth configure docker. So we'll use this command. I'll go here. So I'll just remove this part. I'll just remove this part. I'll just remove this part, and I will here I will just keep a run, and I have to execute shell command here. What is the shell command? gcloud auth docker, and then the name of the host, so that is region hyphen docker hyphen pkg hyphen dev. So let me put double quote here. Okay, now let me try to run and we'll see what error it will fail. Okay, so let's go to action, and we can see build and deploy to cloud run services here, and it started running. So checkout is fine, docker auth is fine, Google auth is also worked. Okay, Google auth is failed, you can see. So two things failed. One, this error is also there, auth is no longer maintained, so it will not receive update. So we have to use the latest version. So let's go in code and update our code with v2. So we check the latest is v2. So I will change it to v2, and also I observed the syntax is incorrect here. So whenever we are building images, we give our host name, then project, then artifact registry name, and then image name. But here artifact registry name is missing, so we have to give artifact registry name as well. So I'll just add that part, and it should be gar name. So I'm just adding the missing value here. Okay, and the same thing I will copy in all below command. So every time it is using the GitHub SHA, so it will provide a tag to that image, and it will always fetch the latest built image. Okay, same thing I will use here as well. I'll just remove the double quote. Just keep as it is. Okay, now we have updated our code. Let's execute again and go to actions. So how it is immediately executing as soon as we pushed, because we have given trigger event as pushing on the master branch. These are our environment variable, this is our deploy job, and deploy job contains required steps. Okay, so let's go to the actions now. So it is running, let's see. So build and push, it failed, so let's check the error. US Central 1 repository, US Central 1 not found. I think we made some mistake, typo mistake. Yes, so it should be a name, not location. So why I am giving this, so always remember the format for artifact registry image is always first host name. So push and pull images. Okay, I'll show you. Yeah, so see, first is host name, then project, then repo, and then image. So here the same way I am doing, host name, project name, a repository name, and then service means the same name I am giving to my image, which is my service name. Okay, and here also I need to modify. Now let me just commit. As soon as I commit, my workflow will trigger. So it's triggered, we'll check all the steps. So it is waiting for a runner. Okay, and now it started. It's building image. Okay, now it is trying to push. Okay, it is pushing now to repository successfully. Okay, and deploy to cloud run failed. Okay, why it is failed, we'll see. v01 series of GitHub Action cloud deploy is no longer maintained. As I said, we are using outdated version. Go back again and check the latest version of this GitHub Action cloud run. So that these are the things I wanted to show you, that these starter workflow are just a template. We'll have to use, we'll have to modify it. Currently version is again a v2. So let me just update v2. So it error is thrown out, but service is deployed with a older, but it is mentioning you will not get a latest update on that. So service will be deployed, my Flask app. Okay, my Flask app is deployed and job is also completed, but in the log it will throw an error. See, v0 of the service. So to remove that error, we can change it to v1. It should be warning, but here it is throwing as an error. So let's change it to v2. Okay, commit changes. Our application is already deployed, so let's check our service, my Flask app. Okay, so URL is here. Now we have to, now I am checking from my browser, so I have to allow unauthenticated invocation as well. Okay, so I have to go to security, so I can click on so allow unauthenticated invocation. I'll save so that I can check. Hello world, this service deployed by GitHub Actions. So I have successfully deployed my service using a GitHub action on a cloud run. So let's check this workflow now, as we already deployed it successfully, but I just want to remove that error. I can see that error is removed. You don't see that error now because we are using a v2. In auth also we removed that error, so it should be part of warning, and it's successfully and deployed now. So let's see, we should see the new revision here. Okay, so if I go to revision, yeah, we are on new revision now. So let's check if it is working, and it is working fine. So same way, if you want to do it on a self-hosted runner, you have to just change the part of the runs on in the workflow file. So here, instead of Ubuntu, line number 65, you have to mention runs on self-hosted, and you have to make sure you have self-hosted runner configured. If you don't know how to configure self-hosted runner, just follow my video in the same playlist. You will see there is a video where we already set up the self-hosted runner on a Google Cloud. So hope you understood how to create a pipeline to deploy application on Cloud Run, how to reuse our starter workflow, how to modify starter workflow. Hope you understood all these things. So just try it in your environment. If you stuck somewhere, just let me know in comment section. So thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you again in next video.